welcome. Yes, you're in the new Providence, where niggas get to snapping like they got no common sense. When we approach with confidence, revoking confidence. His offense slip enough to throw the hardest to the fence. So raw is what it is, you can't stop it like jail runs. And ain't no topping him, he's opposite of well done. Rare without care, put clocks on the line. Comfortable with my flow, it's like I got Crocs on my rhymes.
Welcome. Yes, Fuss Sports, man. We are here, F4 back in the building. We're 50% fuss, 50% fantasy football, but 100% facts. And we here to take care of them today, man. And of course, here to have my back, I got the big homies with me. I got Jay Rees, the gambler.
F4, baby. Every time I see Cody in the intro, I'm like, we taking all
the way off.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yes, we got Cody here with us, Silly C, a.k.a. with the numbers.
Haha, it's your boy. F4.
It's your boy. Man, we about to get it popping. We just had our first Sunday back with football after like 200 some days off of strictly Sundays, man. That red zone, man, that's my favorite quote of the day, man. 7 hours of uninterrupted football, man. Like the commercial-free football. Oh, you got to love that, man. But, you know, there aren't everything we could love that comes with football Sundays, and that's some of the bets we missed out on. We're going to tell you what we are a day late and $1 short. All right, man. So there are some bets, man. We don't hit them all. You know what I'm saying? There are some things we miss on, and this is our segment to tap into that, man. Just some bets we came up a day late and $1 short on, whether it be bets or fantasy football players. Let's kick it off with Silly C. What bets or fantasy players were you a day late and $1 short on?
Oh, man. I can't even say that I was a day late $1 short, but I have to say I did come up on Sam Darnold. His over and under was 248. I chose the over. And I got a nice little piece with that. Also got Carolina with -3.5. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I really hate when we get on these things that we're supposed to swing and miss on, you know what I'm saying? And y'all just be hitting doubles and triples and stuff, man. Carolina was my pick for our eliminator thing that we're in with my boy Boss 100. So I was able to win in advance. This week's going to be a little different, but Carolina, a lot of people hit with them. But Jay Rees, since Cody couldn't follow the directions, can you let me know, is there a bet that you missed on or maybe a fantasy football player?
Well, unlike my man Cody over here, I was not hitting on all cylinders. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you right now, the Vikings majorly burned me. And I knew once I put all these eggs into the basket and then I picked them for my eliminator pick, it wasn't good news. I got eliminated and I lost a whole bunch of bread. So there you go.
Man, you wasn't in sync, so now you saying bye, man. And I'm sorry that you got eliminated week 1. I was looking at that game, but I couldn't guarantee it because, man, those visiting team on home opening days, there's a lot of electricity, and there's always a narrative that plays into that. Speaking of narrative, man, I guess where I was a day late and $1 short on, man, there was several players I was, man, but it was trusting myself and my instinct, man. I've been telling you guys from back in the AFC West previews or the fantasy football shows, if you get Melvin Gordon, add him, start him week one, and me giving out this advice, you know what I'm saying? I'm not following my own advice. I had Melvin Gordon, one share of him, and left him on the bench. We're not professionals. We're not in the locker rooms or whatnot, but we know what we're talking about here. And when I told everybody else to pick him up late and start him week 1, I hope you guys were the beneficiaries because I was the guy that lost out on taking my advice seriously. So listen to what we got to say. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That would hurt, man, because I'm like, man, I'm telling other people to do it. So this is advice I should be proud of, something I should stand behind. And I'm like, yo, if you get Melvin Gordon, he might not be a full season starter, but start him week 1. I'm like, I'm guaranteed. And he went out there, man. He got 29 points on my bench and like another like 24 in another league. Obviously, different bonus points for those long runs. But, you live, you learn, and you get burned by the Vikings. That's what happens, man. Silly C, are you in the eliminator? Were you able to advance?
No, I'm actually not in there. I didn't even want to jump in that.
It gets tricky, man, and it's going to get more tricky, but hopefully F4 could be here with you throughout the process to keep it going. Let's go ahead and segue and keep it going from our woes to the week 1 in review, man. Let's go ahead and start off by showing you guys some of the memes of the week. Man, what a week.
Fire.
What a week to like start it off, man. That's how we gonna kick this one off. And it was cool to kind of bookend bookend the week with some really good games. We had Dallas versus Tampa Bay. That was an awesome way to open up the season. Final drive winner. And then that game last night, I know you guys were super excited to watch it. I know I was. I was able to get some good luck in my fantasy after having a pretty tough week. By not listening to myself. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the headlines from week 1. Jay Rees, just kind of in a bigger picture take, what did you take away from week 1 NFL football?
Well, I saw Aaron Rodgers in those memes. The boy, famous Jameis, took it to him, man. I don't really know what's going on out there. Everybody's saying like, hey, Aaron Rodgers will be back, and he's upset now. He's kind of starting to look like a guy, even after week 1, just overreaction jumping out the window. Somebody who I cannot trust. I didn't like the way that hair was flopping around in the field. I didn't like those YOLO balls he was throwing up. He just looked disengaged. It almost looked like he was throwing the game. Not actually throwing to his players, but throwing the game.
Yeah, man, there's a ton of players that he wasn't throwing to. A lot of the skill positions didn't eat, but we'll dive into that a little bit later. Cody, in a vacuum, what do you think about week 1 NFL football, and how do you feel to have football back?
Oh, man, it's just fantastic. We had some of the best performances. I'm telling you, this week 1 was crazy. And just to finish it off with Monday night's game was just that was crazy.
That was a slapper.
Derek Carr really balled out over 500 yards. I mean, yeah, week 1 was definitely all of what I thought, but surprisingly, after that, the running back injury and the guy coming in for San Francisco, what's his name? Mitchell, yeah, he came in and balled out, and I'm actually looking to pick him up, but
yeah, and we'll dive into that a little bit with some of the injury and waiver wire stuff. But yeah, a little story time with me, man. It was tough weekend, man. I was about to go 0-4 in my 4 leagues that I'm in. It was just tough sledding. I was figuring stuff out with my rosters and whatnot, and not taking my own advice. But coming into the later game, I had long odds on one game, and I ended up taking the lead and winning with the Dan Carlson field goal that sent it to overtime. And then I ended up being tied with Forensic going into overtime. And I just needed a point out of Sammy Watkins to separate, and he got a 1-yard catch, or maybe a 2-yard catch, and it was able to separate. So I was able to go from 0-4, possibly 0-3-1 to 2-2, and had a respectable week. How did you guys do in your fantasy leagues? Nobody cares about y'all's fantasy teams. That's what I was going to say.
I went 2-2. I should have went 3-2, but Jay Reeves went beast mode on me, so I couldn't really do much.
It happens. Sometimes you get clapped, man. I was texting my boss who I was playing and won with the Dan Carlson field goal. And I know fantasy games don't add no value, but damn, that was about as good as it gets, man. Like it took all the way to the last second on the last game on Monday to win. And sometimes those are the ones to feel best about. And I was glowing today at work, but we're going to keep it pushing into some of the injuries, man. And Cody talked about one a second ago, the Mostert injury. Cody, how will that play out for San Francisco? And who do you think might be the best additions to replace Mostert?
Mostert, yeah, that's big. I was expecting him to have a big year. He was actually one of my sleeper pickups. Or wannabe sleeper pickups if I could have got him. But, yeah, right now Mitchell's looking like he's going to be the one to kind of fill those shoes. If not, I don't know. They look like they might be in trouble. I don't see much anybody else able to step in.
Yeah,
well, let me touch on that a little bit. The boy Trey Sermon, he was drafted. He was drafted in a lot of leagues.
I got him in two.
I don't actually know the percentage, but he was drafted in a lot of leagues. They say Elijah Mitchell is comparable to Raheem Mostert with those speed bursts. The dude is a speedster. Trey Sermon was a third-round draft pick. I believe Elijah Mitchell was a fifth-round draft pick. They just said Trey Sermon like Elijah Mitchell and Jermichael Hasty was ahead of him, so they just said Trey Sermon. Sermon has to get in here. I think this will be Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon backfield. And it's just going to be week to week, man. He's playing those Bellatrix. Kyle Shanahan is up to his shenanigans. So we'll see. It's going to be tricky from week to week.
Yeah, the Shanahans have a long lineage of good running backs dating back to the dad coaching with my team, which will segue as perfect. My team has an injury at wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy's now out, pending to miss a bunch of weeks, at least a handful it's looking like. Jay Reeves, who you think is going to be the best replacement for Jerry Jeudy on the waiver?
Man, that was tough watching that because I thought we were about to be saying RIP to Jerry Jeudy's season. He was out there. He went 6 for 72. He was having a good day. That man was about to take it to 100 real quick. Man, this one's tough. This one hurts the heart. The man who's going to step up in this position is going to have to be Tim Patrick. He's been slotted in when Cortland Sutton was down. So it's definitely going to be Tim Patrick with a little bit of KJ Hamler sprinkled in. He may see a little uptick in passes, targets thrown his way. But Tim Patrick is the number one ad. Actually, it's Elijah Mitchell and then Tim Patrick, number one and number two ads for this week.
Yeah, I would definitely see that. One player that was available in all four of my leagues. I'll talk about that next. Cody, what do you think about KJ Hamler's addition to a fantasy roster?
I definitely think that's pretty much forgiven right now because he has too much big play ability. And just seeing what Melvin Gordon was able to do, with that big run and actually take some of the steam and some of the defenders off of KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick, I think it's only a matter of time before all of them break out.
Yeah, for those Drew Lock people that might be detractors of Teddy Two Gloves, I do believe his skill set actually fits in with some of those big play receivers because normally when you think about a big play, you think about like a lot of like air yards, like throwing the deep pass, throwing the big ball, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, the best way to make those plays is get it to your playmakers and let them do what they do and make plays in space. So I do believe KJ Hamler might be able to benefit for some of the shorter routes, and Teddy Bridgewater's yak will definitely benefit from that. But man, I just love my Broncos in the game. We want to know, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know if y'all like games, man, because we're going to play a game with this next injury. Unfortunately, we can't really like poke fun at anybody for getting injuries, but Fitzpatrick is down. I want you guys to talk from the GM's perspective on what would you do to replace Fitz.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters and gender resistors, it's time for America's badly named favorite game, Who Fits?
Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down, please. I am your host, VO the Face, and we're here for today's game of Who Fits. I want to put you guys in the role of the football team's general manager, Washington football team more specifically. And what would you do? You got a good football team, a championship caliber football team. Do you stick with Heineke, or do you go find a QB, or do you sign a QB? There's some options in free agency. There's some options to trade for. Silly C, what should they do?
I don't know. Is Kaepernick still available?
Yeah, he is, man. He is. He out there. He ready to.
Philip Rivers.
He's gonna stay out there.
Philip Rivers still there? I heard he was thinking about coming back.
Oh man,
they need somebody, and unfortunately, it was tragic. But I don't see what's his Heineke, Taylor Heineke. And who's the other guy? I don't see either of them being able to fill any kind of shoes.
You got Kyle Allen and Kyle Schumer.
Kyle Allen has played some good ball under Ron Rivera. There is another quarterback that's actually out there on the market that has ties with Ron Rivera. I'm talking about Cam. Jay Reeves. Might we see a resurgence of Cam Newton in Washington?
For the sake of the Washington football team, I would hope not. Cam does not move the needle for me at all.
I didn't even say him.
I'm actually going to stick with Taylor Heineke. I almost feel like he should have gotten the starting job just to begin with. I don't know if you guys recall, Taylor Heineke played in the playoff game. Mm-hmm. And he kind of showed off a little bit.
He almost beat Tom Brady. He almost did.
That's what I'm talking about. If he was in training camp taking the first reps, you know what I'm saying, with the first team throughout the whole training, the whole training camp and preseason, he would already be ready to go. But they gave those to Ryan Fitzmagic, who hasn't been to the playoffs his whole career. He's been a journeyman. He's been on a billion teams. He was never really that great of a fit for the team. I think Taylor Heineken.
Yeah, man. Well, cheers to that. I would like to point out, you know what I'm saying, you turned down two people that have playoff experience that are on the market. There was a third one that was kind of intriguing to me. He just tweeted out a picture of him in the jersey, and he said, make the call. This person is Bobby Three Sticks. Robert Griffith III is talking about. Huh?
He is worst, meaning he is washed.
You watch your mouth on Bobby Three Sticks, man.
Bobby Three Sticks is a straight hairdryer. He blows.
Oh man, the disrespect coming out of his mouth. Well, maybe all of the best quarterbacks are already on rosters, so it kind of brings you to my next point. Do you trade for a quarterback? Cody, do you make a trade for a team with a good backup quarterback? Might you be looking at a Drew Lock? Might you be looking at a Nick Foles? What do you think? Possibly an Andy Dalton. He might be available too. What do you think? Do you make a move?
Yeah, Andy Dalton would be good. Nick Foles would be good. Right now, after the performance from Aaron Rodgers, man, he's got to. I don't know if he want to play football anymore.
Man,
that was terrible. But yeah, with that being said, I think that would be a good fit for Andy Dalton, at least right now.
I would have to disagree.
Man, Jay Reeves, you are doing a lot of disagreeing. You are doing fart noises over there. You doing all these analogies. Why don't you like any quarter? So there's no more good quarterback.
Old white dudes. I don't want nothing to do with Andy Dalton or Nick Foles. I'm telling you right now, if they wanted to make something happen, I know Cody don't want to say it. You would go out and you would poach that boy Drew Lock if we would let you. But we're probably not going to let you do that. And I'm telling you, Drew Lock could take them to the next level.
Man, I would be absolutely disgusted. Although I'm like, this is about the highest a Bronco fan been riding since Drew Lock's performing out in Houston towards the end of the season a couple years ago. We were like that high. I haven't felt this good about a win, even though it's just the Giants. You know what I'm saying? It's happy to make it happen. And, I'm glad to see us getting it in. And we got another cupcake team this week in Jacksonville. But that concludes that talk, and that's the end of our game show. Both of you guys are losers, and your prize is absolutely nothing.
What a
Your prizes, I'm gonna give you some more segments with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like Drake, man. I'm just riding with my woes. But now our fantasy teams are riding with the woes of some of our fantasy decisions, man. First round picks, big disappointments. Jay Reese, I know you was looking big at Ezekiel Elliott. I know you had your foot probably all the way down your throat on Thursday night. Do you feel dumb? Was that just a week one, like a WEAK, like week performance, or was it just week one? And like you're like, wait a second, like you still believe in Zeke?
I would have to say it was both. It was double week. It was a week one and it was a week performance.
Week.
So 11 carries for 33 yards, 2 receptions for 6 yards. He actually got outperformed by Tony Pollard just by fantasy perspectives. But the boy looked good out there if you're actually watching the game.
You lied to yourself.
Check the tape. Hey, man, check the tape.
I'm looking right now, Googling Ezekiel Elliott highlights. My phone is not working, or either that is not finding any. But go ahead.
Oh, man, with that being said, I think it was just some week one woes. I'm hoping it's some week one woes. And the next matchup coming up would be the LA Chargers. I'm expecting big things from Zeke in this next game, man. If not, he's going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah, well, I mean, the seat is hotter than a lot of running backs in the NFC. Aaron Jones had a pathetic week, as well as I'm just looking at him. I'm sorry, Saquon Barkley. Cody, what do you think about Saquon and Aaron Jones? Rough week. Are we still riding through the 6 with our woes?
Man, I got Saquon in the league, and
you know how that should go. You know how that should go. He's so irrational. Man. He's so damn fragile, bro.
Man, I just don't know. He's on a terrible team. Aaron Jones is with Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know. Them two is kind of really risky right now. I'd kind of, if I would have done the draft over, I would have stayed away from both of them.
Yeah, day late and $1 short on a ton of these wide receivers. Wide receivers that went early in the draft. Tyreke and D. Hopkins definitely performed. A little bit of an underperformance from Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf. Jay Reeves, can you explain the unexplainable?
DK Metcalf wasn't that terrible. He still caught a touch.
He'll be all right.
He made up for it. He just had a tough first half, like no balls.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he had his little fantasy pointage out there. As far as Devontae Adams goes with Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, man. Is it time to press the panic button? I don't want to do it, but they're talking about last dance. Aaron Rodgers out there throwing like this is his last chance. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling him. I don't know if I'm feeling anything from Green Bay right now. Everything is looking like Green Bay poop right now. But they have their get right pill facing the Detroit Lions this week. So we'll see. I mean, you can't overreact. You can't jump out the window, but can I toss something up to you guys? I have Robert Woods and Darrell Henderson on one fantasy team. And I know nobody cares about your fantasy team, but let me ask you guys this. Who would be a better fit for my fantasy team? Because currently I have Aaron Rodgers. And I'm looking at the waiver wire, and I see Matt Stafford out there.
You know, I grabbed Matt Stafford, and I am very happy that I did. I think he's going to have a breakout year. He's fitting in perfect. I know it's one game, but I think it's only more to come.
Matt, before you answer, can I drop these numbers on you? It was a really efficient day, man. 20 for 20 out of 26 attempts. 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Matt Stafford, what do you think about him?
I think you're absolutely out your damn mind. Like freaking like dead ass. Like I work in a warehouse, a production shop. You know what I'm saying? We was getting it in today, and the dude said they was talking. He was like, "Yeah, Kirk said he don't even know if he about to start Aaron Rodgers this week," and I agree with him. And I almost ran across my shop and judo kicked these mofos, man. Like I can't tell you enough, and I can't emphasize enough. Oh man, my son and his homeboy just walked in. Forgive me, sorry. Don't mind them; they're teenagers. So yeah, man, I can't emphasize this enough, man. Like, I almost kicked them in the face just thinking about how they disrupted my point I was trying to make. But yeah, man, it was just real disrespectful that the former MVP Aaron Rodgers, the bad man that Stephen A. Smith says he is, and the bad man on the field that's proved it and backed it up with MVP trophies as recently as I don't know, fucking last year. Like, are you thinking about sitting a guy after one bad game? Nobody has no faith in their convictions, man, and that's the thing that scares me about a lot of fantasy owners. They're just ready to give up, ready to tap out. I'm kind of disgusted in you that you would even think about putting Aaron Rodgers.
Nobody's tapping out. You got to pivot right at the beginning. I was talking about as far as the stack purpose. And as far as I'm concerned, Aaron Rodgers, he's not getting benched. He about to just get cut.
You own one today, Jay Reese. You own one, man. I don't even know, man. Like, just with some of your takes, I'm losing my focus, just like when the kids walk by, man. It's disgusting, disrespectful. Cody, you said it's not that disrespectful because you're a Matt Stafford owner. I'm a person that rolled out Matt Ryan this week. He was trash. There were a lot of doo-doo performances, man, and some big ones out of places we didn't quite expect. Cody, if you want to share your screen, you can show them some of the top performers of the week. We'll just do like 3 from each position once you share your screen. Jay Reeves, was there somebody you super hit on or somebody that super ate you up across leagues?
Somebody that super hit on, my boy, Debo Samuels. Oh, yeah.
Tuck my chain in real quick, man. Debo, man. Hey, but as good as Debo played, he almost lost it. Oh, man. Like, he almost slid in the wrong inbox. Like, he had a good one at home. He had that good game in his pocket, and he's out there sliding in inboxes, man. He almost risked it all. And you know how he did that? By fumbling the ball, man. Luckily, Detroit wasn't able to finish off with the knees and decapitating them. But, I'm just here trying to fill air till Cody shares the damn screen.
Yep, it's your boy.
It's your boy.
But yeah, let's dive right into it. So in the quarterback position, we had some performers this week. But to top the list, we got Kyler Murray, pretty much 35, 36 across the board. Then we got Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he balled out. Got a couple lucky throws there. I think really that.
Is it lucky or is it just skill?
That 75-yard pass to Tyreke Hill was lucky. That was lucky.
I want to talk about that. Now, I'm a Bronco fan. I hate the Chiefs, man. But, like, sometimes when I'm watching him play, like, man, it looked like he don't care. When the shit ain't, like, hitting, like, he's, just throw it in. He doing, like, hook shots and shit. It looked wild as hell when it's not working. Now, when it connects, and it does a majority of the time because he's a 70% passer, it looks amazing. But when it don't connect, man, it doesn't look like he gives a fuss what's going on out there. And that's the thing that concerns me about Patrick Mahomes and all that talent, man. He's just like, he's like Jay Cutler, but like, just like, he's wild, man. Like, it looks wild, man. Look at this.
He more like Steph Curry. So when he's throwing in passes that don't look like they connect to you, trust me, he connected on them in practice. He do what he wanted out there. He always hitting from the free throw line, 3-point line, half court line. That's Pat Mahomes, bro.
That's Patty Matt, man, and he gonna get it in, man. Who was the? I guess we need to talk about the dude that is a surprise on the list, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston,
yeah, number 3 overall, 31 across the board, pretty much beast mode. Jameis Winston, watch out. They really put it on the Packers, and I don't know. Maybe it was just Aaron Rodgers not wanting to play anymore. But
man, sidebar. Chris Broussard said he was like, "What's your dark horse MVP?" And he said Jameis Winston. They almost laughed him off the set, and that was last week. He definitely came in and he was giving his roses on Monday. Who got it out the running back position? Silly C.
At the running back position, we had Joe Mixon. He led the hill. He kind of balled out as well, about 22 across the board, 30 almost on DraftKings. And then Chubb follows up, 21, 23 PPR, 22 in FanDuel. Then Chris
Mhm.
McCaffrey, 19, 29, 24, 29. He gets a lot of that because of those catches, and he's beast mode as well.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. I didn't really have a bunch to say about him in the offseason and didn't get any Mixon stock, but he had a really good game. I can't hate. A lot of us didn't see this coming from the Bengals against the Vikings. Jay Reese. But yeah, I mean, the other two guys, man, I'm in 4 leagues. I mean, I have 4 first-round picks, and I have Nick Chubb twice and Christian McCaffrey the other time, so I was satisfied with their performance. Jay Reese, what do you think about that top 3?
Man, CMC has returned back to the top of the mountain.
And that's a
This
fact,
man,
Joe.
this man was the number 1 running back in PPR leagues, and he did it without a touchdown. The last person to do that was Christian McCaffrey.
And that's incredible, man.
He beat his own record?
He beat his own record.
Silly, what do you think about the way Christian accumulated his points? Like, you obviously see he's 19.8 in the non-PPR, but man, those 10 receptions that he got in the PPR bumped him up to a 29.4. Cody, what do you think about how he accumulated it? And is Sam Darnold and Matt Rule the perfect fit for C-Mac?
I think for the last game, it looked like they were. Still a lot of questions, a lot of red flags when it comes to Darnold, but I do know that it looked good. I mean, but, Robbie Anderson, 1 catch for 57 yards and a touchdown. So he was only thrown to twice. So it's nothing big. I don't know where they're really going to go.
Definitely. Well, I do know where we're going to go from here, and that's to the wide receiver position. Silly C wanted to do a slightly deeper dive. My wife is calling me real quick. Let me just do something. You guys talk about wide receiver.
All right, and so for the wide receiver position, we're going to jump right into it. We have Amari Cooper. We'll start at number 3. We got Deebo Samuel. Beast mode, 12 targets, 9 receptions, 189 yards, 1 receiving touchdown, 21 yards per reception. Now, that's just monster. And he had a monster fantasy day, 33 on PPR, 29 on DraftKings, 38 or 29 on FanDuel, 38 on DraftKings, about 36 on DraftKings. That's a little overstated, but still, that boy right there, he is speedster and he's huge. Watch out.
Let me tell you this, Cody. The reason why Deebo Samuel was able to get so much production is because Brandon Ayuk was just chilling on the sidelines. Actually, Trent Sherfield started over Brandon Ayuk. Coach Kyle Shanahan said that Trent Sherfield showed a lot more in training camp than Brandon Ayuk did, and in preseason. And also, Ayuk was dealing with a little hamstring injury. But if he was dealing with a hamstring injury, why did you even put him out there in the first place?
Yeah, he was on my wife's bench. She was pretty, or not bench, but in her actual starting lineup, but on the bench. So she was hot about that because I told her to get him. But let's move on to the next one. We got Tyreke Hill. Now, I think he's a little
Collusion.
overstated.
I call collusion.
He's definitely a little overstated, I feel, here because of his 175-yard pass. But again, 15 targets, 11 receptions, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 17.9 yak. Or yards per catch. So, he's just a beast. Then we're going to go into the top performer, which was surprising. But 16 targets, 13 receptions, 139 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns with 10 10-yard per. That's just monster as well. I wanted to definitely go into these receivers because to start the season like that, it definitely shows that these receivers are ready and it's going to be a big year.
And it's crazy because it was a surprise to all parties involved except for Amari Cooper. I don't know if you guys heard his statement last week, But they said, who's better than you at receiver? He was like, nobody. Like, honestly, I think I'm the best receiver in the NFL. He's like, now I just got to prove it to the talking heads. You know what I'm saying? And damn, did he come out and make a statement? 16 targets, 13 receptions, incredible number by Amari Cooper. Is there any validity to his statement, Jay Reese?
I don't know about that.
Top
Yeah,
five?
I don't know. People who F with us, they heard me say on this very show that Amari Cooper's looking at CeeDee Lamb. Take a back seat, little dog. I got this. This is the Amari Cooper show. But still at the same time, in that same sentence, in that same breath, Amari Cooper could go straight to the toilet any week on you, man, and go right back to being Amari the Pooper Scooper and just drop 1 point.
Man.
I don't trust him.
Man, I feel like
phenomenal first week. I do not trust him at all.
Yeah, I feel like kind of like with your analogy, it's kind of like Amari Cooper like took off. He pulled out the driveway. Then he got down the street. He sees CeeDee Lamb kind of acting a fool in the backseat. He's like, hey, sit down and buckle up. You know what I'm saying? Sit down and buckle up, man. And I think we all got to buckle up for the ride. That is the wild wide receiver position this year. Cody, let's give us 3 tight ends that made an impact for fantasy team this week.
Oh, man, can I just say one thing about the cheetah, man? He puts up quarterback numbers. We're not just going to skim over Tyreke Hill like that.
Yeah, I think Cody called him like
–
I think he said it was like an admiration or something. I think Tyreke went from a player that was boom or bust to a player that's boom or kaboom. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only like 2 levels with him. You see the targets are there. You see the receptions are there. He's no longer boom or bust. Yes, he got the 75-yard potential. But, man, it's either boom or kaboom. I strayed away from him this year after he led me to a championship.
Won't be doing that again.
I'm feeling like a fool right now, man. But fools love hard and we die hard. A player that I've loved in the past is at the top of these tight end rankings. Cody, break it down.
Yeah, so number 3, we got TJ Hawkinson. Beast mode himself. This guy right here, he put up some really big numbers, and I really look forward to seeing how him and Goff start getting, a connection and some chemistry. But then Travis Kelsey, obviously, he's going to be on this list every week. And,
always there.
Yeah, 27 points PPR. And then you look at the top. No one expected this. Gronkowski, he definitely has the athleticism and the ability to do it, but nobody expected number 1. But he balled out, and yeah, there he is again.
Gronkenstein, man. Nothing else to be said. He's dope. Jay Reeves, do you have stock in any of those 3 players, or were you one of the have-nots for tight ends this week?
Oh, man, somebody at work was talking to me about Gronkowski, and it's my Bosnian homie. He's like, all he's gonna do is just go to the end zone and throw his big mitts up, and Tom Brady's gonna. And I was like, man, if you don't shut your. And then it happened. Not only did it happen, but it happened twice. I do have stock in TJ Hawkinson. Wish I had a little bit more because it just looks like Jared Goff is about to just feed him and the running backs all day long. Travis Kelsey price is always too high for me, but he's awesome.
Yeah, amazing player. And we go from the best of the best to talking about the Giants versus the Washington football team.